Hello guys, I'm Joseph Pope, and today, or tonight I shall say, I'm reading my story, Connect the Dots. This is my paper for my ELA project, where I have to write a spooky story. Ooh! So anyways, this is my first draft of it, so the final thing may be a little bit different than it is now. But right now I'm calling it complete. It's a story about a marching band, and I can't think of any other scary stories about marching bands, so I guess I'm the first one. And the name of the story is Connect the Dots. So I'm excited for you guys to hear it. There's some fancy marching band stuff in here that hopefully the story explains thoroughly, so that way you're able to understand it. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm just gonna start from the beginning. It's a pretty short story, but it's pretty scary. So here we go. Let me start up the spooky music. It's time to get started, bellows the band director, slightly distorting the cheap speakers as a plethora of sweaty, tired kids come steamrolling onto the field. As of 5 weeks prior, marching band season had begun. It's a time where many enjoy it and many don't. But one thing's for certain: sleep is scarce and work is plentiful. Children of varying ages practice together on the field of the well-known Owasso football stadium. 2 to 3 hours a day, all in preparation for their upcoming performances. And if they don't mind the hours they put in, one thing they definitely do is the heat. Good old Owasso, Oklahoma, notorious for its blistering temperature. It's the reason why water breaks are a necessity. It's at this point, early in the season, that many pupils, from freshman to senior, must compete for their dot. A dot is an individual performer's designated spot on the field, in which they must move through assigned coordinates. To have a dot is to officially be marching full-time, and to be included in the shows. A milestone of which most if not all marchers aim to achieve. To not have a dot, however, means sitting on the sideline for the length of rehearsal, in shame at that. Christian has had to face such repercussions time after time, and now it's his senior year, his final chance to earn his dot, which he failed to do. It's the only reason anyone could think of as to why he's so quiet, why he doesn't interact with the rest of the trumpet players in his group, and opts to sit in silence, often mumbling to himself like someone who has just lost their mind. Is that a spider? That is a spider in my room. Get out here, spider. Ah, it's moving. What the heck? It's like attached to a little web. Okay, I got rid of it. Someone who's just lost their mind. Except Joseph, that is. They've been friends ever since the first day of band. If Christian would spend any amount of time talking to someone instead of gazing at the ground waiting to go home, it would be him. On this day, most things go as usual. The sun peeks over, zapping the eyes of anyone facing it. Water jugs are slammed onto the sideline as a sea of band kids go running out. And Joseph makes his way to talk with Christian. Guess what? Mr. Smith told me I got the dot, Joseph cheers. That's great to hear, man, Christian says, pinching his eyes open as to keep himself awake. Practice is about to start, so I can't talk much, but wish me luck. Joseph dashes to his spot in the field, his trumpet in one hand, and starts his long day of marching in repeated sequences. On this day in particular, the atmosphere wasn't as usual. What started as a beautiful sunny afternoon had begun to transform. Chilling gray clouds drifted through the sky. There was no forecast of rain, but for whatever reason, the sky had lost its clearness. But that doesn't stop the pride of Owasso from trekking through in the eyes of the students and directors alike. Nothing could disrupt a rehearsal in session, even if there were an alien invasion. Oh, there I am. As a matter of fact, although a strange situation, the ensemble had much to appreciate about their newfound setting, as the sun was no longer burning holes into their eyeballs. Instead, the area was wrapped in a blanket of shade. Joseph, midway through the afternoon agenda, has the feeling that not everything is in its right place. He couldn't place his finger on it, though who could blame him? All his fingers were far too busy pressing and flickering his trumpet valve keys all day to place his finger anywhere. And to be fair, some days just aren't the best. You're bound to see the occasional person acting grim and unexcited to be there. To the left of Joseph always stood Jace, a particularly extroverted man, the kind to always get in trouble for chatting with his friends during practice, walking around with his sensible pride and enthusiasm. Where was it now? He marched on that field on this day with the face of a zombie. It threw Joseph off to the point where he couldn't focus properly on his duties. Some time passes until the band director excuses the group. "Let's take 10 minutes for water, everyone. Good job. If anyone needs to use the restroom, now's the time." With no time to waste, every kid on the field scatters, almost bumping into each other. Joseph, frightened, didn't quite know what to do. He didn't run, but simply strolled. Strolled down the turf, kicking pebbles along the way. Sorry, y'all lost. Trying to think why Jace had become so eerie. A swarm of trumpeters group up and collectively flood their mouths with water. I should probably look out for Jace, try and find an explanation, thought Joseph. His eyes wandered, looking straight ahead where Jace normally returned to his water jug. He was left in shock to see that the guy disappeared. In an instant, the man was gone, nowhere to be found. This can't be, Joseph pondered to himself. Something weird is going on. He must be in the bathroom, Joseph concludes. He circled around the arena behind the home bleachers, a morbid place to be. The darkness, old abandoned belongings, and a spiderweb on every corner. No question why people usually stay away from the area. Looking around at his surroundings, Joseph inched into the restroom. In the mirror, he spots Jace moving to the corner of the room. "Hey!" calls Joseph as he prepares to comfort Jace. But something repulsive happened before his very eyes in a blood-curdling horror of events. Jace's body mangled, deformed, and reshaped like something totally unnatural. His bones crackled. His voice is heard making a soft grunting sound. Joseph was perplexed, frozen in fear. Turning his head like an owl, the figure who looked just like Jace is now revealed to be Christian. "What's going on?" Joseph utters, not being able to control his shaking. Christian kneels onto the floor, wiping blood off his clothes. "Why did you have to do this to yourself?" Christian groans, looking deep into Joseph's eyes. Stuttering, Joseph cries, What is all this? And what happened to..." "Did you wonder what happened back behind here, where nobody goes? Nobody questioned why I was gone. They never did. I'm invisible. You don't know what it's like to never be seen for who you really are. You and your dot. When will people see what it's like to be anyone else?" Well, he sure didn't. Christian points his bloody hand across to Jace's corpse lying on the ground. "How is that possible?" And why? Wails Joseph. My body wasn't seen as good enough to march proudly on that field, so I'll just use someone else's. Since I've developed my new DNA genetic modifying formula, anyone's dot can become mine. You became a clone of him? And walked back onto the sideline as myself when it was all over. Christian got a wide grin across his face, like he was becoming a beast. You know, Christian mumbles, maybe a second dot wouldn't be so bad. Knowing he couldn't escape his terrible end, Joseph stays frozen as Christian stands and begins walking toward him. Six weeks later, it's the day of the BOA state finals. It is the Wassa's turn to perform. However, everyone walking on the field has the face of a zombie. That's the end of my story. So, in case you didn't catch it, Christian killed me. He killed Joseph, became a clone of him, and then did the same thing to everyone else. So yeah, he became a clone, and it's cool because the story doesn't outright say what happened, but it says the results of what happened. So it lets your brain fill in the details. It doesn't go into detail as to how he did it or what he did, but your brain can imagine, you can picture all the horror that went on. So now, at the end of it, 6 weeks later, every single kid on the field is actually the same person, and they're all being controlled by Christian. So this is a story about greed and jealousy and how it can literally turn you into someone you're not. So as for Christian, yeah, he didn't have a dot for his entire high school career. So he was like, you know what? If I can't have a dot, no one can. And he just became everyone. So hope you enjoyed it. It was a story called Connect the Dots. You see why it's called that? Because all the dots are connected. I thought that was clever. Anyways, I will probably get an F on this assignment, but I don't care because I'm proud of it. Thank you.